Good morning, everybody. Great to see you today, to see all of your smiling faces, or if you're not smiling yet, you hopefully will be soon because it's a beautiful day and there's lots of Mayflowers blooming downtown. So thank you for joining us for our weekly response and recovery call. And I want to thank those of you who have been religiously attending these meetings since we started having them in March 2020. And I want to let you know that this week will be the last week that we will be having them as weekly meetings. We're still in the red tier, but as things begin to ramp up in terms of our programming and our activities, we think that it will be more useful for us to provide updates to our full membership on a monthly basis. So our schedule going forward will be that we will meet on the third Monday of the month at 10 a.m. And this will be the week after our organization's board meeting. And it'll also be after a city council meeting so that we can give you updates on what happened that week prior. So mark your calendars. Our next response and recovery meeting will be on May 17th. Then June 21st, then July 19th, then August 16th, and so on and so on. We really appreciate those of you who have been attending every week, but we're just mindful of the fact that everyone's kind of getting a little bit busier these days. We will continue to provide our weekly member emails, and if you're not on that list, please reach out in the chat and let Rachel Maiorino know, and we can get you added to that list. That is the email that comes out on Tuesday and goes out to all of our Downtown SLO members. And that is all of you. So we're hoping that you will remember that we'll be here May 17th, and we'll send you a reminder when it gets a little bit closer to that time. These are the representatives who serve on the Downtown SLO Board of Directors, and each of these people represents a business in the downtown and also has committed extraordinary effort outside of their busy daily lives to help govern this organization as we've moved through the pandemic and been greatly affected by it. So just wanted to take a minute to acknowledge everybody who's on the board. Thank you for your chiming in every week on these response and recovery calls. And we think it's really been valuable for us to stay connected during this crazy time that continues to be crazy, but hopefully is moving into a period where we kind of maybe know what's happening next. If at such point it becomes necessary to start having these calls weekly again, we will absolutely pivot and we'll do that again. But we hope that we'll let you get a little bit of your precious time back on a Monday. So with that in mind, I'm going to invite our COO, Rachel Maiorino, to talk a little bit about our current reality. Good morning, Rachel.
Good morning, Bettina. So as of Friday, April 23rd, we still remain in the substantial or red tier of the state's blueprint with 21,071 positive tests of COVID in the county with 239 active cases. So seeing the active cases go up just slightly, but still remaining low. Unfortunately, 4 more people in the community have passed away due to COVID-19 with a total of 260 deaths in the county over the course of the pandemic. Our thoughts go out to those families and their friends. 203,817 doses of the vaccine have been administered in the county. You can learn more about vaccine at recoverslo.org. And again, that reminder on testing at readyslo.org. With that, Bettina, I will turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Rachel. And yes, it is discouraging to note that we are still in the red tier. And I imagine that Supervisor Ortiz and our representative from the city, Lee Johnson, will also probably touch on this. But, you know, we're still, while the vaccines are going out, we are still dealing with high numbers in our county, and it's too bad. So I got my first shot, and hopefully many of you have gotten your first and your second shots, and we'll look forward to hearing from you about that experience. So with that, we'd love to hear from our county supervisor, Don Ortiz. Thank you so much for joining us since you came on every week. It's been just absolutely wonderful to have you with us. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Bettina. Good morning, everyone. For me, it's really important to get the perspective from the city. It's such an incredible job that you're doing. I just can't tell you how much I appreciate the efforts of all your professionals to really work on communicating, because that, for coming into this job, that seems to be the one piece that I think is really kind of my other weakness, because there's so many things to communicate. So the fact that you guys are really taking the leadership in so many ways, I truly appreciate. So on that note, I'll just say that we weren't that far out of the orange, as you know, many may know. We just missed it. So it's just, you know, again, I think that we continue to see folks who don't really want to play by the rules anymore. And so that's going to be important to continually be masking, to keeping distance, but also on this vaccine effort that, you know, the numbers are coming out that people are just getting one vaccine and that's it, which is better than nothing, but we definitely need to continue on getting our vaccination process going. And on the Ready SLO website, I just, going for my second vaccine, we have this new system called My Turn through the state of California. And when I initially did it this morning to get my second vaccine, I couldn't find the Pfizer 2. So then I went back through our own county way. They took me to the My Turn, and then I found the Pfizer 2 in Arroyo Grande. So I am thinking for myself, you know, I mean, I have the time to figure out how to do this, but for a lot of folks, they don't have that time. So I'm really hoping to work with our county folks on making sure that we're making this as easy as possible for people to go back in and get the second vaccine. I think that's going to be just so important, first and second vaccine. So My Turn California is what you want to look for now, but if that's not working, go back in through the county. And I'm sorry that's confusing, but that's the thing that just happened to me. And I'll, you know, and any questions that you have on that. I want to note that on the recovery of the economic piece, that our little grant that we did for our unincorporated areas is coming to a close. But what that did was set up infrastructure for future grants and future opportunities with rescue funds. I don't see those rescue funds actually being allocated until maybe June. I think it's going to be May, June before we really have conversations. I was disappointed last Tuesday that we came back with not much of a recommendations from the subcommittee, and that they've been waiting for future guidance, which did just come in from Congressman Carvajal's office on how we can expend those money. It's significant money. It is critical that we do the best we can for those folks out there that need us, and the businesses and the organizations. I think that the one fear that people have is that we're going to spend it wrong and then we're going to have to pay it back. That's what I'm hearing. I think that we can figure out how to spend it right. And I, you know, really want to work on that with our team and all of you, and continue to provide me with details on needs that you see that are not being addressed through other programs. Lastly, I want to go back to what I would call our homeless and unhoused conversations. I picked up on what you guys did last week. I thought that the educational piece was so important. And as you heard from the county folks, is that we are going to be having a conversation about homelessness this coming Tuesday. And I'm really excited about the fact that we're able to sit down and really try to have a conversation about one of the most difficult topics. And I think that one of the things that I heard you talk about, Bettina, when the presentation was happening last week, and what I'm really focused on in this conversation next week is not only that we understand all the resources and the ways to address the unhoused populations, our neighbors that don't have homes, but also how we communicate that. And I think that the complex nature of this issue, it requires us to have a communication strategy. And so my recommendation will be working on hiring somebody just to be able to communicate so we can all talk the same language, so we understand what it's going to do to make things better. And I think that that's going to be really critical, because we hear all these acronyms, we hear about all the programs, but how can we make sure that that's communicated clearly so people are going, hey, nobody's doing anything. And yet we know that people are doing a lot, but it always feels like, you know, if you don't really understand the problem enough, and that's up to the county. The county has the responsibilities, and when we can provide that messaging to all of you, then, you know, we can work stronger together. Lastly, I want to say that, you know, this week, in talking, and if you can call in next week on Tuesday with the Board of Supervisors and law, you put in your comments. That's going to be important. But also a good portion of what you heard was through the mental health. And this week in mental health, there's a summit going on, and I can share my screen or put in information. I know time is tough, but was there some information provided to you so far on the on the transitions mental health and the
I don't think so. That would
okay, I'm going to show that. Hang on, I'm going to open this up. Okay. Share screen. There we go. Let's see, but I got to open mine up again. Okay, there we go. Thank goodness I have Sarah here with me. It's still opening, sorry. So there's 2 days, Wednesday and Thursday from 1 to, no, share screen. Okay, you can see this. Can you see this, folks?
No.
Oh, okay. Now, can you see it?
No.
Okay. And so here we go.
Okay.
Okay. This one? This one, here we go. Okay, share. Sorry about this.
There we go.
Okay, good, sorry, thank you. Yeah. Okay, so this is 2 days this week from 1 to 5, a free virtual conference. And what I love about this is that, one, it really addresses a lot of pieces that we're starting to work on. One of the things is advocacy through peer relationships. Folks who have navigated the system, who also have mental health challenges, and they're really working together, and we're just funding another group of this peer relationship. And so we've got 2 days of all sorts of presentations, breakout groups. We have a piece just on, so I'm going to put this into the chat, but you'll see that here we have a national move for youth, and that's going to be really important. And part of it I really like about it too is that we're doing a thing where, let's see, right here, I think it is, oh yeah, a sound bath. And that's something that we're going to be funding, is the ability to give people sound baths to really help on a, and I said it's not just the mental health people, but I think everybody's going to need a sound bath, because it's really a way to bring your emotions down and try to get engaged on your, almost on your internal spiritual side. So these are the kinds of things that are going to be happening for 2 days this week. And I will share this link with you, and you can just see some of the different workshops that are going to be available. And with that, I'll close and just say thank you for allowing me to share that, and take any questions if you like, Bettina.
Thank you, Dawn. I have a question about the item that's being discussed next week. Do you know where that will be in the Board of Supervisors agenda? So we might.
I don't think we've gotten it yet. Do we know, Sarah, what if that's a morning item or an afternoon item yet for the homeless conversation next week?
I don't know.
What we'll do is we'll send it over as soon as we get the agenda, which should be coming out probably tomorrow.
Okay, that'd be great.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd definitely be interested in joining in. So thank you.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Well, thank you very much, and we'll see you next on May 17th. So thank you. All right, up next, we have Joy Peterson from Cal Poly, who's going to give us a little update about what's happening at Cal Poly this week.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for having me. I'm standing in for Courtney Kino, and I have 3 big updates for you all. First, we have a new ASI president, Tessa Laurie, and she is amazing. If you haven't had a chance to work with her, she's been in ASI for a while now in various roles. I've worked with her on a couple of different initiatives related to basic needs, and she's just a real pleasure to engage with. So I look forward to all of you having an opportunity to meet her in the year ahead. All of you are probably aware of the CSU and UC announcement regarding vaccinations. So we sent out a campus-wide message last week that anyone engaging with the campus through employment or as a student will be required to have the vaccine there are a lot of conversations, obviously, that still need to take place before that gets enforced and enacted, but we are going down that road. So stay tuned for more information. And then finally, there is a committee on campus focused on welcoming all our students back in the fall and helping them with the transition back to campus, back to in-person classes. It will coincide with WOW, but it will be different than WOW because WOW is specifically for first-year incoming students. And these programs and services will focus on sophomores, second-year transfers, and any student really who's having a difficult time either navigating campus, finding community. We will build in opportunities for students to get downtown. It will depend largely on what things are looking like in terms of gatherings and public spaces, but we would love to do some farmers market activities that first week of the quarter, which is the week of September 20th. So more on that to come as well. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. We appreciate it. So the plan is currently to have everything kind of go back to normal in the fall and all students will be back?
Correct. That is the plan. That's plan A.
Well put. Very well put. Okay. And what kinds of conversations are you having with local housing people about, what that's going to do for rentals and apartments and on-campus housing? Are you going to have, are you still going to maintain those single rooms, or is it going to go back to doubles and triples? What's the housing supply going to look like in SLO as a result?
Great question. So we will hold some spaces aside for isolation and quarantine. We are planning on at least having doubles, if not going back to full capacity, which is some triples. And in terms of the rental market in SLO, I know that Courtney has prepared a message. I don't know if it's gone out already, but it includes information about our educated renter program and how we prepare students for being responsible renters. And so that message will go out to all the property managers and independent landlords. I don't know where she gets her list from, but she has a list of those, explaining to them what they can look for when students come to rent from them in terms of the educated renter certificate.
Great. Yeah, that's helpful to know about. And I know our downtown businesses will be really glad to know that more students are going to be in San Luis Obispo physically. There is a shortage of those workers downtown in our restaurants and in our shops. So hopefully some of those folks will be coming back over the summer and getting settled in and wanting to find some part-time or full-time work in addition to being a student. That's great. So are there any other things that are going on campus in between now and the fall? Is the summer term going to kind of look the same as the last few quarters have looked?
So right now we have an exemption that allows us to offer classes online. Typically to offer any classes online, you have to go through an accreditation process and get them approved. And that exemption continues at least through the summer. So we will be offering some classes online, but we're hoping to offer more in-person classes. And the first part of and we will be having SLO days in person over the summer. SLO
days. And what are the dates of SLO days?
Oh gosh, they start in July. I don't have them all in front of me now, but they start in July and they run through the summer.
Okay, great. Yeah, we'll definitely want to hear about that. We're always interested in when graduation is and SLO days and WOW, so we can prepare for all the people who come downtown. And that I'm assuming too that means that other events like homecoming, the new student orientation, prospect weeks, those will start to happen in person again as well.
Yes. So first day of fall quarter is Monday, September 20th. The weekend prior, we'll be having some big activities. So Saturday, there's a football game. There'll be an ASI concert, and there'll be the WOW Club Showcase. That's sort of the culmination of WOW. So WOW will be the week prior, leading up to the weekend of the 18th, 19th. And then the 19th, we're hoping to do some of these special activities for our returning students. And then the week of the 20th, we're hoping to do more like the farmers market, town gown activities, getting students reoriented to campus.
Great. Okay. Well, thank you for taking my persistent questions, Joy. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. I'll ask Courtney if she can bring more info on SLO days to the next meeting.
Great. Thank you very much. All right. Well, speaking of people coming back and downtown being full of people, let's talk a little bit about parking. Those of you who tuned into the City Council meeting last week know that parking was definitely a topic of discussion, and we have some new updates, and our parking manager from the City of SLO, Gavin Hussey, is with us today. Gavin, how are you today?
I'm doing well, Bettina. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, so hopefully everyone's taking a look around downtown. Our parking pay stations are actually live this morning. They were live yesterday afternoon as our team was removing some of the old meters from around the core. We got Higuera and Marsh Street done and a couple cross streets. So all the pay stations are live. They're active and customers are using them as of yesterday. So that's great to see. And I think a lot of people were excited about them going in. So we had some positive feedback throughout the weekend on them being activated. So that was great. Next big step that we're working towards is on Friday, we did receive a contract that we're going to be reviewing to add our mobile apps. So we're hoping that before summertime, we'll be able to add mobile applications and customers can start utilizing those also on the city streets. So a lot of big changes coming to downtown.
Great. So when you say by summer, are you going like with the official first day of summer of June 21st, or do you have a timeline for when that app might be available?
We're hopeful that it'll be in June, but that's going to depend on our review of the contract. So depending on if there's going to be an issue with our legal department and what's being proposed by the mobile apps.
Okay. And can you give everybody an update on what was discussed at the City Council meeting last week with regard to the parking changes that are coming forward?
Yeah, definitely. So I think the big one for this coming summer, which will take effect July 1st, is we're going to be implementing the rate increase that we deferred last summer. So that will be happening this year. A lot of this stuff is in line in anticipation of construction for Palm to Pomo. Right now, the city is moving forward with that construction project. We're expected to break ground on some initial aspects with PG&E undergrounding and the removal of some of the on-site structures this fall in October. So you should start to see an increase of activity in that area.
And included in that rate increase, there's also an expansion into the evening hours as well, right?
Yes. So parking enforcement will be expanding in July also to 9 p.m. Monday through Sunday. So you will see that in effect in and around the area.
And will the rates be the same as they are in the structure, or will they be the same as street parking, a separate rate?
So there is an increase in the there is an increase to the hourly rate in the parking structure. I think the big thing to notate there is that the daily max rate is being reduced in the parking structure. So we want to incentivize our local employees to go and park in the structures rather than park on street. It's being reduced. I believe it's down to $6 for the whole day now. We're also going to start to work on some of our long-term parking programs to try to align those and make those more convenient and user-friendly for downtown employees, so they can pick and choose how they want to access the parking garages, so they're not paying a premium at all times. So I think that's a big thing to notate there.
Yes, and that's definitely of interest to this group. So if those of you who are on the call have not joined our Parking and Access Committee, we will continue to meet with Gavin and his team to advocate for the best solutions for our customers and for our employees in the downtown. We'll, I'm sure, have another conversation about this at the May 17th meeting. So if you could put that on your schedule or find somebody on your staff to designate that too, that would be great. So thank you for that.
So.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you, Gavin. Are there any questions out there for Gavin about the changes? Oh, I have actually another question for you. When will the meter stubs, the poles from the old pay meters, be removed?
Yeah, so great question. We're actually working through that process right now. We're hopeful by mid-May to end May, we'll have all those removed. we are waiting on the bid from one final vendor, and then we'll make a decision and execute that agreement. So hopefully that's taken care of. If you look right now, it looks a lot more open than it did in the past. And once those poles come out, it should be a lot nicer out on the city sidewalks there.
And when they come out, is it expected that will be a pretty quick, like 1 or 2 day project, or will that take a matter of weeks? What can we expect?
No, so we're hopeful that it'll get done within a 3-day period. I think that's our expectation of all the vendors that we've approached to get this work done. So it should be, less than, a few minutes to cut each pole based on what I've seen with our own staff's ability to do it. It's just we don't have the bandwidth to do it in-house, and hence we're contracting it out.
Got it. Okay, well, thank you. Unless there are any other questions, I think we can go ahead and move on. Thanks for being with us, Gavin. Let's go next to Lee Johnson with the City of SLO. Good morning, Lee. How are you today?
Good, Bettina. Can you hear me and see me okay?
Yes, we can.
Excellent. All right. So we'll start off the council meeting last Tuesday, as you mentioned. Council did not really change the work program or give us different direction for the economic recovery major city goal. They did add some funding to do a community workforce agreements, but otherwise, basically the $12 million that we've allocated to economic recovery and fiscal sustainability stays there. The big things in there are $500,000 for kind of TBD, to be determined promotions, programs like buy local bonus or grant programs or whatever, seeing what we need as we recover. There's $1 million in there for childcare support. There's a big chunk of money for the Mission Plaza restrooms and kiosks and some other downtown improvements. So all in all, council was pretty happy with the work programs we put together. All of that will come back in June for final approval. And I think the final package gets released mid-May so that everybody can see the final budget package and have time to look at it for 2 weeks before the actual June council meeting. If we can get it done in one meeting, great. If not, we have a second meeting in June where it's on the agenda in case we have to come back again, because we have to have it in place by the end of the fiscal year and in time for July 1st. As our supervisor mentioned, and a couple other people, we were pretty close to getting to orange, 0.1 away, totally testing related. If more people get tested, then we get more of a credit that would bring us in line. The numbers themselves for the period that will come out tomorrow are in theory good enough for us to go to orange, depending on our testing. So the thing we can't actually see is the amount of testing credit we're going to get. So in theory, we could get the first week of orange tomorrow and then the second week next week, and then be in orange next Wednesday. But that all kind of depends on the numbers we get tomorrow and next week. So everybody.
Can you remind us of what is sort of comes next with orange? Because we've been in red for so long. Maybe we can't even remember
orange
what comes
is basically a little more capacity across across most of the businesses. I can really quickly, I can pull it up. So there's changes on gatherings. It makes it go outdoor from 25 to 50 people. Then you also get more outdoor 50 to 100 if people are vaccinated and tested. You get shopping centers, et cetera, go from 50% capacity to full capacity. Movie theaters go from 25% to 50%. Gyms go from 10% to 25%. Restaurants go from 25 to 50%. So that's kind of the big ones. I can drop the document in the chat. Anyone, you can just look at that if you want. So that's kind of the big stuff. So with June 15th, also coming pretty quickly, which is when the state has kind of said they're going to go to a much more limited public health order, which is basically going to be about masks and really big venues, 5,000 plus. So in theory, if we meet the criteria that the state has set, everything opens up June 15th. As a city, we're working on what that means for us, like demobilization of our emergency operations center, what things that we currently have in place, like sign ordinance, Latin non-enforcement, that kind of stuff, what we do about those, what happens with our emergency orders, all of those kind of things. We're working through that process. And that will also, there'll be a reopening plan for the city when we reopen City Hall in 919 and all that kind of stuff that we're working on as well. So basically that's it for my report today. If anybody has any questions, let me know.
Great, thanks, Lee. Appreciate your insight. And so basically what I'm taking away is that we all need to get tested more. And that way we can go to a yoga class and go to the movies and have more people inside our restaurants.
It's wear your mask, social distance, wash your hands, and get tested and get vaccinated.
In that order. Got it.
And please do it. It's really not that hard.
Got it. Okay. Well, thank you. And I know we'll also really look forward to when the city offices open up, because that will mean more daily workers downtown. That'll mean more foot traffic, and it'll be a good thing. So cool. All right. Thank you very much. Up next, we're going to invite Kayla Anderson from the Chamber of Commerce. Good morning, Kayla. How are you today?
Good morning, Bettina. Thank you for having us. So I am filling in for Jim this morning. He unfortunately has a conflict. And so we just had a couple of things that we wanted to update you on today. And so the first one being on May 6th, we are launching our series, Cracking the Government Code. And so we are really excited about this. It's a nice way to figure out how to get involved in this government process to navigate, whether that be if you're looking to make public comment or even throw your hat in the ring yourself. And so this first one is going to be on Government 101. And so essentially just laying the groundwork for the rest of the series. And we have a great group of panelists. Supervisor Ortiz is actually one of them. And so we know it's going to be a really good one. And so we encourage you to check that out. I think we'll probably go ahead and throw that in the chat, all that information. And then the next one that we have coming up is actually this week. So it's this Thursday, April 29th. And that is our first virtual new member orientation of the year. And this is probably one of my favorite events. It has all chamber staff on deck. It just shows you what we're doing on the advocacy front, how to get involved in committee work, how to take advantage of all of your benefits, whether that be leveraging our marketing team. And we know that you're only utilizing a very small portion of your membership benefits, most likely. And so we encourage you to come check that out. It's not just for new members. If you've been a member for 10 years but just want a refresher, please come and join us. Or if you're looking to get a staff member a little bit more involved in the community, that's a nice entry point right there. And then we are wrapping up the Buy Local Bonus program this month, and that's our partnership with the city. And so don't forget to turn in your receipts this week so you can take advantage of that program there. And then lastly, we did conclude our survey with our chamber partners, and so we'll be launching those results and publishing those out later this week. And so I think that that's all I have, Bettina, but I just want to really quickly say on behalf of the chamber, thank you so much to you and your team at Downtown SLO for putting these on every week. It's just been so nice during the pandemic to have this check-in call with our friends and our partners just to start off our week. And I know it's not easy putting these on. And so thank you so much. And we look forward to joining you once a month moving forward.
Thank you so much, Kayla. I really appreciate that. And yeah, it's not that we don't want to keep the connection going, but yes, it is a little bit of work to put it on each week. So thanks for that update. And I am really excited about that Cracking the Government Code workshop. I think that's going to be a really eye-opening experience for everybody who participates, and more civic engagement is always a good thing. So thanks for that. We'll look forward to signing up for that. And just a quick question on the Buy Local bonus. Does it officially end April 30th?
That's my understanding, but I'm sure that we can defer to Lee on that. I'm sure there might be a little bit of flexibility in that, but yeah, that's my understanding.
The current iteration of the Buy Local bonus will be ending on the 30th.
Thank you, Dusty. And does that mean you have to turn in your receipts by the 30th? Or?
They need to be, any qualification entries need to be received by the 30th.
Excellent. Great. Thanks, Dusty. Appreciate that. And you can qualify up to 3 times, correct?
3 times per person.
All right. So I still have, I got to go spend $100 downtown this week. I will do it.
Sounds like a good plan.
There's my charge. Okay, cool. Thanks, Kayla. Thanks, Dusty. Appreciate your partnership at the Chamber. Okay, up next, we just wanted to thank everybody who participated in our business education series last week on downtown homelessness, especially a big thanks to the county for participating with their representation, and to City Manager Derek Johnson for sharing with us as well. That recording, if you weren't able to make it, is available on our YouTube, and it is in the chat. So we recommend listening to that, watching that recording. It is incredibly complex, as Dawn said, but it is it's helpful to get some context for all of the various programs that are in place. So we hope that that can be a resource for you going forward. And it certainly is not the last time that we will have this conversation. We were really happy to bring back our business education series, and we will be hoping to have more sessions again on a quarterly basis, where we bring you a variety of topics in the next few weeks, next few months. With that in mind, we are eagerly awaiting the next Thursday night, which is when the farmers market returns to Higuera Street. So we're going to invite Whitney Cheney, Program Director for Downtown SLO, to talk a little bit about what that's going to look like. Whitney, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Bettina. Yeah, just a quick rundown of what you can expect. We are coming back next week, May 6th. And it's pretty exciting. We're going to have certified farmers, vendors offering pre-sealed to-go items such as bread, pastries, and more, and a handful of vendors offering crafts and some home goods. One of our downtown businesses, for example, Hemp Shack, will be there offering some of their CBD salves and some other homemade items. Next slide. This is our vendor map for Thursday, May 6th. We will have it posted on our website as well. It's looking a little pixelated, but even as our limited format market, we do have a large following or large variety of vendors for you to choose from. All of your tried and true favorite farmers will be there. The take home items will be located on Morrow Street between Choro and Osos. Thank you for that. Masks will be required. The signage to the left of your cursor in the green font, those will all be posted on the A-frames to let people know the different rules and regulations. No pets, masks are required, social distancing, no eating or drinking in the market, and no gathering. It is a shop, get going, and make it a downtown night. So we're encouraging everyone through our social media channels to get their fresh produce and then find other ways to experience downtown, whether it be getting takeout, eating at one of the many restaurants, enjoying the Mayflower Initiative. There's just a lot of other things to do downtown. So we are excited to come back on May 6th, starting at 6 p.m. The streets will close to cars beginning at 5 p.m. The streets being Higuera between Osos and Choro, and Morrow Street between Monterey and Marsh. Any other questions, feel free to reach out to me, but we're really excited to get back to it.
Thanks, Whitney. I have a question. Is Choro Street going to be open to traffic, and are Osos Street going to be open to traffic?
Yes, they will be.
So the closure will be right here?
Correct.
Excellent. Okay, thanks very much. Well, we're looking forward to it, and I hope that you enjoy this Thursday night as your last free Thursday night. You're going to have to do something special.
Like drink some coffee and stay up late or something and celebrate. No, I'm excited to get back to it.
And it's been a journey, that's for sure. So we're looking forward to seeing folks downtown and seeing, it looks like there's going to be about, what, 31 vendors or so?
Yeah, there's a good handful of them. I mean, we're very fortunate to have so many farmers that already participate, and they are all so thrilled to get back. It's been really fun reconnecting with them. So it's going to be good. And the produce is in fine form right now. So you can get strawberries, the cherries are coming. It's going to be great.
Great. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate you and all of your hard work. We'll see you downtown on Thursday, May 6th.
See you on May 6th.
All right, speaking of other activities to enjoy, the wonderful Through the Flowers exhibit in downtown SLO through the Mission Plaza pop-up with the incredible work by Lori Shapiro is still up for another, I guess, 5 days. And if you have not seen this and you have not walked through Mission Plaza to see this exhibit, you've just simply got to do it. It is breathtaking and so interesting and lovely. So thanks to Leanne and her team for putting this together, and thanks to the city for continuing to activate Mission Plaza in such a artistic and community-driven way. There's also tables and chairs available through the Downtown Dine Out program, and that's become a really treasured kind of meeting space. So we love seeing that happen in the heart of the city in Mission Plaza. Next month, continuing with the flower theme, we are going to be partnering with the city on the pop-up, the Mission Plaza pop-up for the Mayflower Initiative. And we had some really adorable volunteers from the Trust Automation Children's Center chalk art crew. You can see they even made t-shirts. They came out and put some color in the plaza, very fun. And an artist has put down a rose mural, which is depicting the progression of motherhood. That's by Katie McGrath. So thanks to them. And in May, we will also have a partnership with the Children's Museum, where it will be a monarch butterfly scavenger hunt throughout the downtown. And you may have noticed over the weekend that there are a number of windows blooming through the Mayflower Initiative. So these are just a few of some of the ones that have popped up already, even though it's not May yet. You can see the Jamba Juice one, our team just walked over this morning, and you can't quite see it on the screen, but these little flowers here are actually a representation of the Jamba logo. So it's like the logo is flowering. The creativity is just amazing, and the artists have been having so much fun painting and challenging themselves in the medium and interacting with the public, making this art get created. So thank you to any of you who have participated as a business and opened your windows to artists, and thank you to anybody who's been an artist painting on the windows. We're so delighted to bring this project back for the second year, and everyone is just having a wonderful time. So with that in mind, we are reaching the end of our final weekly call. I feel as though we should have some sort of commemorative moment, but I haven't really prepared a poem or a song or any meaningful way to celebrate this. So I think instead we'll just say, does anybody have any questions? Does anyone have any complaints? Does anyone want to tell a joke? Or should we just say goodbye?
I have something to add, Bettina, if I may. I think it's very fitting that we have all of these events and things happening to end this weekly basis, you know. And last week I had told you that we were starting to look at flights coming in. And so 2 days after we open up as a state, on June 17th, our flights from Portland and San Diego will begin. And so that's going to come out as a press release in a couple of days. But I think it's fitting that we're getting there, folks. So
that's great news. Thanks for that. And I also saw that the FAA is giving a $12 million grant to the airport to do a runway refurbishment, which that's going to be a pretty nice runway, I should say.
Yeah.
And then the Anholm bike got a big grant from the city as well. So we're going to see more and more ways to access downtown, whether it's from visitors who are flying in from other cities, visitors who are biking in from other parts of our community, or people who are driving in and ultimately parking in our new parking structure. So I think really bright things are on the horizon. We look forward to seeing you around downtown over the next month. As always, our team is available if you have any questions or concerns, or just want to have a friendly ear to talk to. So thank you for joining us, and we will see you on May 17th. Thank you, everybody. Have a great week.